learner-centered and context-specific ICT tools. We have, in order to reach the unreached, and which I think is our goal in adult education, we have to address their diverse needs, and therefore we have to create a whole variety of materials, which is something that ICTs do make possible, creation of such materials. ICTs can be used to arouse interest and enthusiasm and engage learners in their use. Developing useful and relevant content, again flowing from that, ICT projects must address the local needs of various kinds, and the neoliterate adults can use such information to improve their lives, and this again is something that is feasible and possible. Ensuring professional development of literacy personnel. Now, we all know that this is how I started, that training is generally neglected. ICTs can help in the professional development of literacy personnel. Research and monitoring are very important, and they have to be built into program design. So you have to build research, monitoring and evaluation into program design, and here universities and research organizations can play a very important role. We need partnerships. The next point, which is ensuring multi-stakeholder partnerships. Now, since ICT projects require huge financial investments, it is possible that the claims of the poor to participate in information economy might get shortchanged. There is a very real danger that you might just bypass them, because the school system does make very heavy demands, and so there is a possibility that the governments our national governments might allocate resources for the school programs, but as far as adult education programs, that the poor might get shortchanged. So partnerships between government, NGOs, private sector are necessary. But this is a tricky proposition, because one is not saying bring in the private sector. No, because the government has a role to play. And it is necessary to leverage respective strengths. Each player has some strength or the other, and it is important to leverage the strengths of each player. And lastly, ensuring sustainability of ICT-based literacy programs, because this is a very serious problem, is sustainability. How do you sustain ICT-based projects? Now, it is said that make it commercially viable. There is debate on this whole issue, because once you talk about commercial viability, you find that the poor do get left out. So there is always that danger. But community involvement is still very essential for sustainability. And all said and done, the bottom line is that government commitment and government funding is still very essential. And that government funding has to be provided on a sustainable basis. It cannot be project-based funding.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dege, for your so many things and so many points about the ICTs. I welcome your comments and suggestions.
In the light of globalized world and private partnerships in the field of literacy, what should be the ideological slant or stand an ordinary adult literacy worker like us should follow?
I am in doubtful condition whether email and this methodology, will it be possible for us to use in the tribal areas and in the interior areas where the persons are not in a position to reach there?
As we have experience in our place in Northeast, particularly for the rural people in the rural areas, we find that particularly it is very difficult to draw the attentions of the rural people, particularly for the involvement of the people in participatory developmental programs, particularly on ICT. So what approaches we should apply, for the people in the rural areas to draw the attention on the involvement of participatory developmental program? Thank you.
The problems which you are thinking as great are really not that great. We are afraid that we can't use email, we don't have computer, all that. What is needed? All these things can be put in a CD, and one can carry a CD player. Whenever talking, CD player is not a very big thing. CD player and a screen. With that, whatever is there, they can be very easily taught, and the villagers, when they see the CD player and all, in many cases it might be a new thing for them. Just you carry a CD player, take a CD No need of email, no need of computer, no need of internet. You can easily show it to them.
In an ideal condition, we have computers, we have CDs, we have DVDs, we are using ICTs somehow, maybe we are taking corporate social responsibilities help or something. Can we do away with the human factor?
We have run a pilot project in one of our districts, Jalna. There we found it that it can be a very much attraction point for the new literate. So it is very, very useful. But local level problems are much, and it needs government policy and commitment.
Last one.
You have focused on ensuring community participation through ICT, but how this can be made possible?
A lot of questions have been raised, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be answering all of them, but starting with the first one, the ideological slant. Yes, there is an ideological slant. When you go back to the genesis of participatory research, which goes back to the 70s,